We've been waiting for Gambit to return to X-Men 97 ever since his heartbreaking death back in season 1. But how does that old saying go? Be careful what you wish for. Spoilers ahead. So at the end of season 2 episode 6 of X-Men 97, Gambit has been brought back to life. Yay! Unfortunately, he was resurrected by Apocalypse, who turned Gambit into his Horseman of Death. And Gambit is one of those mutants that you definitely do not want to have an evil power-up, because he's about to be an absolute menace for the X-Men. Even before the upgrade given by Apocalypse, Gambit is already an alpha-level mutant with the power to take the potential energy in an object and convert it into kinetic energy, which causes it to explode. So basically, he would take an object and charge it up, and the smaller the object, the faster the charge, which is why he uses playing cards. And these aren't just tiny explosions. A charged up playing card has the same explosive force as a grenade. And if Gambit wants to, he could even supercharge an object to make the explosion even greater. But that's not all. Gambit can also charge up objects like his bow staff and cause it to release this vibrational shockwave instead of just outright exploding. Kind of like how the Black Panther suit does. Gambit also has the ability to tap into the energy of his body and increase his speed, strength, reflexes, and reactions. And this allows him to go toe-to-toe with the strongest superpowered individuals and makes him capable of dodging bullets, lasers, and missiles. And randomly, he has this hypnotic charm type of power. And this allows him to compel others to believe what he's saying and even agree with whatever he suggests. So as is, Gambit is already a dangerous foe, but what happens when he becomes the Horseman of Death? Well, on top of the powers that he already has, once he becomes the Death Horseman, he's able to convert breathable air into poisonous gas, even air that's already inside your lungs. Instant death. And his ability to charge objects with kinetic energy is transformed into something called a death charge, which essentially fills an object with a type of energy that breaks down living tissue on contact. So if Gambit hits someone with it, they are completely disintegrated. Death Gambit can also mentally control the trajectory of his playing cards, so if he throws it at you and misses it, best believe he's going to cause it to turn around and come back at you. And probably most horrifying is that he has the power to corrupt someone and subvert them to his will. So an evil version of his hypnotic charm. Waterloo break. Cheers. So what is the story behind Gambit and what led him to becoming a Horseman of Apocalypse in both X-Men 97 and the comics? So in the comics, Remy LeBeau, aka Gambit, was abandoned by his parents because he had burning red eyes, which was a sign of him being a mutant. Abandoned by your parents. Superhero rule. It's then when Remy was kidnapped from the hospital he was abandoned at by the New Orleans Thieves Guild, and they raised him to become a master thief. And he was pretty darn good at it too, because by the age of 17, he was already one of the elite ranking members. His mutant powers definitely helped. Being a part of the Thieves Guild meant that Remy was aware of the deep-seated rivalry with the Assassins Guild, and in order for there to be a peace pact between the two guilds, Remy had to get into an arranged marriage with the Assassins Guild member Belladonna Bordeaux. Fortunately, the two of them were in love with each other, so it was really no big deal. However, Belladonna's brother objected to the marriage, and he challenged Remy to a duel, in which Remy killed him. He killed him in self-defense, but he still killed him, and the Assassins Guild was not pleased. In order to maintain peace between the two guilds, Remy was exiled and forced to travel the world and use his master thievery skills for his own benefit. But as Remy was traveling the world, his powers would grow to be too unstable. Things would blow up way too easily, and even people were being affected. In order to stop himself from accidentally hurting people, Remy sought out a master geneticist to help him, a geneticist named Mr. Sinister. Personally, I wouldn't trust somebody called Mr. Sinister, but Remy was desperate. I get it. Mr. Sinister removed some of Remy's brain tissue, and that caused his powers to be reduced to a more manageable level, and Remy was super grateful for it. But now he was in Mr. Sinister's debt, and it was time for him to pay up. Mr. Sinister would force Remy to join his mercenary team, the Marauders, and they would be sent on countless missions where they would hurt a lot of people. And Remy was not about it. And all this came to a head when the Marauders were sent on a mission to massacre the sewer-dwelling mutants called the Morlocks. Just a group of innocent mutants hiding from society. This was a line that Remy refused to cross, and the Marauders beat Remy to near death and left him for dead. Remy was eventually found and recruited by the mutant Storm to join the X-Men and make up for all the bad things that he's done in his past. And at first Remy disagreed with the X-Men's sense of morality, but he did have a soft spot for abandoned kids. You know, that's pretty much all of the X-Men. And he was able to integrate well with the team. Remy was given the code name Gambit, and he became a powerful and entertaining force on the X-Men. So how did Gambit become Apocalypse's Horseman of Death? If you remember back in season 1 of X-Men 97, Gambit was killed while destroying the giant sentinel that was attacking Genosha, and his remains were found by Apocalypse, who then later resurrected Gambit. But in the comics, Gambit voluntarily went with Apocalypse. This was around the time when the Scarlet Witch had taken away the powers of nearly every mutant on Earth, and Apocalypse had wanted to fix this. Gambit saw Apocalypse as the surprise savior of mutant kind and wanted to help him. He was basically like, look Apocalypse, I'll become one of your horsemen, but don't brainwash me. And then Apocalypse brainwashed Gambit and turned him into the Horseman of Death. But now that X-Men 97 officially has Gambit as the Horseman of Death, I am so excited to see how it plays out, especially with his interactions with Rogue. She kinda did him dirty with Magneto, and Gambit might hold that against her. Or Rogue might be the one to bring him back to the good side. But what do you think of Gambit as the Horseman of Death? Where does he rank on your favorite supervillain list? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and throw a playing card at the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you missed my previous video where I talked about Omega Red, go ahead and click on the box right here, and I'll see you in a bit.